At the start of the year, you had goals, more clients, better fees, more control, more consistency. And I can give you a cast iron guarantee on two things. First of all, at some time you sat there and made those goals. And at the time of you doing it, without a shadow of a doubt, you actually meant it. But here's what happens, as we all know, January starts and usually starts quite good, full of enthusiasm and whatever. By February, you're getting busy. March, you're now becoming very reactive. And before you know it, you're there again, filling roles, chasing clients, chasing candidates, putting out fires. No fun in that. And the things that actually grow the business, they just get pushed. Let's be honest, we've all done it, haven't we? And that's not good. And you know that as well. And the thing is, it's not that you don't know what to do, because everybody here knows what you need to do. You need to have more outreach, more content, more follow-up, sales conversations. It's got nothing to do with knowledge, nothing whatsoever. It's got a lot to do with consistency. And that is, again, is something that we all know. But here we are now in quarter two. And it's about being real. We're literally in the second week of quarter two, which means that time slips by. And 12-week year, get more done in 12 weeks than others get done in 12 months. Anybody that's read it is recommended. It's a great book. At the core of the book, it destroys that whole dangerous assumption. When we sit there at the beginning of the year saying, "I've got a whole year to get this done, whatever my goal is." That's a lie. Because what happens is, as I said earlier, you start at the beginning of the year full of enthusiasm, full of great plans and everything. You feel fresh. You come back from the holidays. By the time you get to March, you're busy. June, you're reviewing. September, you're going, shoot, I am so far behind. And December, well, you're scrambling. Then you reset and you do the same thing again and again and again. And the whole thing about the 12-week year and the book is because it says, rather than operating 12 months, start operating in 12 weeks. Because urgency changes behavior. If you think about it, a year from now is quite abstract. 12 weeks from now, that's real. And you don't procrastinate when the clock's tight. Let's give an example. If I said to you guys right now, right, 3 days from now, you're going away on holiday, so everything that you've got to get done, you've got 3 days to get it done. I can almost give a cast iron guarantee all the important stuff would get done. We've all done it. When you're going away, you say, shoot, I've got all these things to do. I've got 2 or 3 days to get them done. Because the urgency's there. You don't procrastinate when there's an amount of urgency there. Well, what if you were to behave like that all the time? And I want to be clear about it as well. The 12-week year isn't about doing. Isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but you're doing it with precision. So vision matters. You've still got to have that long-term goal, that 1 year, 2 year, 3 year goal. But you've got to be clear about what you're going to achieve in the first 12 weeks. Number 2, you only focus on what actually moves the needle. Again, we were talking about this, I think it was last week or the week before. We all get caught up doing stuff that, quite honestly, we really shouldn't be doing. And it might be something you might go, well, I've got to get these invoices out because that's how I'm going to get paid. Really? Is it possible that somebody else could do that? I've got to get this ebook designed because I want it to look absolutely perfect. Really? Could somebody else do that? And all due respect, probably do it better as well. But what are the 2 or 3 actions that actually drive results for you? What's really apparent in nobody goes, oh, I don't know what to do. We already know what to do. We know we need to have more outreach. We know if we were to attend conferences, to have more face-to-face meetings. We know that we need to follow up. We know that we need to position ourselves better. The gap isn't knowledge. It's doing it enough for long enough. And one of the things from the book they talk about is what's called weekly accountability. It's the engine, and Don touched on this, where you track your weekly activity. What did I do that I said I was going to do? What percentage of the things that I said I was going to do did I actually do, and to the correct volume? And again, one of the things they talk about in the book is, we all think, oh, I've got to get this absolutely right. What they found with studies is that if you get this right in terms of the specific action steps you should be taking, and you do 80% of them, you're more likely to achieve your goal. And we don't hide behind things like, oh, I'm really busy and this is a priority. You either executed or you didn't. It's as simple as that. But as Don said, scorekeeping, it changes everything. And if you score above, actually it's 85%, not 80%. You're not really executing at the level that you need to be. And as I said, intellectually, we all know what we need to do. But just for a moment, just imagine that you sit down and go, right, this is where I want to be 12 weeks from now. So by the end of June, these are the number of meetings, example, that I need to have. So if I need to have these number of meetings, I kind of know that if I get, I don't know, 20 meetings in a month, I should convert at least one of those into a retainer. What is it you need to do that if you were to do that would get you 20 meetings? How many calls would you have to make? How many posts would you have to send? How many polls would you have to do on LinkedIn? How many follow-ups would you have to do? How many emails would you have to send and how frequently? As I said, we all know what we need to do. And it's not a bit of everything. It's the priorities. What is it that we're all familiar with the 80-20 principle? There's a small amount of things that will give us the biggest results. But most people don't fail because the plan is wrong. They fail because they don't stay all locked in for long enough. And again, I've talked about this on numerous occasions. You go to the gym at the beginning of the year, it's absolutely packed. In my local gym, you can't get on a lot of equipment for the first 3 weeks of the year because people are committed then. But as a regular gym goer, I know within 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to be back to normal because most people won't commit to it. They lack that consistency. So one of the things that if you haven't read or listened to the 12-week year, I would strongly recommend that you do that. And on the subject of consistency, did anybody watch the golf yesterday with Rory McIlroy? It just blew me away. Back-to-back Masters. Only the fourth player in history to do it. It was unreal. But there were kind of really revealing things watching this and listening to him in interviews afterwards. It wasn't the shots; it was his thinking. Because anybody that follows golf, I'm not a massive golf fan. The big events I'll follow. But 4 or 5 years ago, he openly said his mind wasn't where it needed to be. He said, and I quote, at times I was too emotional, too reactive, too inconsistent. Sound familiar? Look at him now. Completely different player and different results. And one thing he talked about was that he was able to what he called reset fast. So he did bad shots. You saw him do bad shots. But to him, it doesn't matter. He just carried on. He didn't replay the bad shots in his mind. Tell me if you've experienced this. You put a post out or an email, and one person's come back and criticise your email. And then you're having this conversation. I'm not going to do that again. Because of that one missed shot. How many of you reached out to a prospect, and perhaps the prospect was rude to you? You've had a bad call or even a bad meeting. Or even the fact, one that always makes me smile. I did a pitch to a client, and the client said, I'm too expensive, so I'm reviewing my fees. Based on one client telling you you're too expensive? Would it serve you better to just reset and go, these things happen? How many opportunities do you think you've lost because you're still thinking about the last time that you lost? And the other thing he talked about was focusing on the outcome. Sorry, focusing on the process rather, not the outcome. He said, I'm trying to focus on the shot that he's hitting, not what it means. I'm going to repeat that one. He's focusing on the shot that he's actually hitting, not what that shot means. That's elite thinking. Because whenever you focus on the outcome, and we've all been there, God, I need this business. I hope they say yes. Will I win this deal? What if it goes wrong? What happens is you're tense. From the hiring manager's point of view, they can smell that fear, or as we call it, that commission breath, when you're absolutely desperate for the sale. But how would it be if your conversation was, I know what the process is, I'll simply follow the process? Also, I think it's worth acknowledging, even following the process, you won't get it right every time. Rory McIlroy didn't get a whole load of hole-in-ones. In fact, I don't think he got any. I think he got one, in fact. It doesn't work like that. So most of the time, it's not going to work. You just think, I'll follow the process rather than focus on this outcome. Because one thing he talked about, he said he works on staying calm and disciplined and control. For most of us, when things go wrong, myself included, my language can be really choice when things don't quite go the way that I want them to. But be aware of what's going on. Are you controlling your state, or does the state control you? And he said, I hit Paul's shots. And everybody saw that. He said, it doesn't matter. He recovered. He doesn't chase perfection. That's the difference. He's not trying to be perfect. He's trying to be consistent. And consistency will always beat perfection. Here's a question for you right now. What are you waiting to be ready for instead of just taking that shot? My biggest fear was missing the ball when I was on the driving range. So I just focused on that. He used to focus on, and he admits it, I used to focus on what if I mess up? What if I miss? Now he sees the shot going right. He feels it. He commits to it. Most recruiters, not just recruiters, most people mentally rehearse failure. No point calling this hiring manager, they won't reply. No point sending these emails, so they'll never get a good response. They push back. And then they wonder why they hesitate. How are you expected to behave if your mental rehearsal is this isn't going to turn out very well indeed? Question for you. What are you rehearsing right now? Is it success or failure? See, this was Rory's 18th Open. He didn't suddenly become more talented. What he did do, he upgraded his thinking. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most recruitment business owners don't have a skill problem. The reason we do this on a Monday, and every Monday, it's all about the mind. It's all about the thinking problem. They carry mistakes from years ago. They focus on outcomes that they really don't want. They react emotionally, or they wait for perfection. They visualize failure. And guess what? When you visualize failure, it shows up. So the takeaways from today really is we've got 10 weeks, it's about 10 weeks until we get to the end of June. So get crystal clear about what it is you want to achieve over the next 10 weeks, 10, 12 weeks. Review it on a regular basis. Get crystal clear about what the action steps are that you have to take. Focus on the execution. Stay composed. Don't worry about perfection. It doesn't exist. And visualize exactly what you want. Take care. Take action. Be relentless.